The election loss was a catastrophic black eye, fat lip, lump on the head. If you can't win with a 30-point lead, when can you win? But I go back to, and I expect, David, that people are blowing up your phone right now, either saying, I'm with Poilievre, or saying, I'm not so sure. But the big question becomes, among caucus members, and again, I go back to the grassroots and the base of that party. I'm talking about the paid-up party members who, at this stage, have not indicated, and to your point, things can change quickly, but they have not indicated that they are unhappy. When we ask them, how do you feel about Pierre Poilievre? I'm with him. We're still with him. So the big question is, can he go home? And it's going to get harder and harder to do. And by go home, I mean go back to the grassroots, go back to the base of the party and say, yes, I've had a terrible, horrible, no good, very good, bad week again. I've had another really crappy week, but I am still the person best placed to form the next government. That becomes the story that he has to sell to the party, to his core voters, and either they're with him or they're not. It also comes down to the issue of alternatives. When you ask disgruntled, disaffected conservative voters, what would you like instead? Very few of them are among the group who say, actually, this party needs to pivot more to the center. That group already left. They voted for Mark Carney. They're gone. The question is often for them, the issue for them is they're actually looking for a leader that they want to pivot even further to the right. And if you think that, Poilievre is to the right, there's a good significant chunk of party voters who would like to see someone even more, call it extreme or further to the right. To that point, who's waiting in the wings? Who's got the base, the money, the organization to take that on? And all of that also plays into the longevity of a leader, which is why, if I'm sounding a little bit more circumspect right now, it's because, yes, long-term, none of this speaks to putting a brightening sheen on the Pierre Poilievre story. But you have to ask yourself, is this a bad injury from which he can recover, or is this fatal? The base of the party has to decide, though, that they want something else in order to govern. And right now, they keep indicating that they just want what they want. Can Poilievre survive a leadership review? Is he going to be okay? When we talk to conservative voters, whether these are people who voted for the Conservatives in April, or whether people who say that they would do it all over again if an election were called in the near future, these are people who are almost to a voter in step with Poilievre. They have stuck with him. The defections have happened in terms of his vote base. The problem is that as long as you have a really loyal vote base, as long as you have a really loyal caucus, but you lack that 4, 5, 8% that you need in order to take your party from a near miss to a majority situation, Pierre Poilievre can stay on as leader for as long as he wants. He has the numbers.
Sure.
What he doesn't have is a broad mandate to actually govern.